Welcome to episode 3 of The Good, the Bad, the Hustle. We're getting more comfortable with this, and we're very excited to have you with us again. So really, again, just if you haven't watched the first 2, this is bringing real talk to entrepreneurs and people starting a business. So kind of that advice, do I want to start a business? And today, specifically, we're going to get into some learnings. What were our biggest takeaways of starting a business? But overall, this really is for people that are starting out or have an established business and just want to hear someone else go through the same things and learn from each other. So without any further ado.
Hi everybody. Again, it's Jennifer Komish and I'm Tiffany Wood. And this week we're going to talk about the hustle. And we hope we can walk you through a few things and hopefully it's exciting.
I know, because the hustle, exciting, but also it takes a lot out of us, right?
It does. It definitely does.
It's a big piece of the business. We've talked about the positive stuff, like finding a business partner.
Yeah.
And we've talked about our challenges last week. And so this week, we just kind of have a little bit of fun. And, again, so we all can commiserate together a little bit about how much it takes and dedication to really run your own business and being that hustle. And we all have different versions, I think, of what the hustle kind of is. So
for sure,
I'll let you go first in terms of what you think, what it took, and what that hustle is about, and, what kind of, dedication and time and commitment, but also the hustle can be good, right? If you're an A-type person and you want to get things done and you're a go-getter, the hustle can be encouraging and empowering, right? But anyways, okay, I overtalk you.
Yeah, it definitely can be all those things. And I'll say we've been in business now for a lot of years. Yeah. And so I'm going to go back to when I was first starting out. And I think this is kind of a good scenario because, you sort of daydream about starting a business and you think that, it's going to be flexible. I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to work from home. But then there's other things you sign up for, other parts, running parts of the business that aren't always as glamorous. And, I run websites and I do maintenance for clients and things like that. And sometimes websites go down. So
really, sometimes.
Yeah. Stuff
especially
happens with
way
tech.
Back when. They're better now.
Oh yeah,
but they
way back
when. A
when.
lot more. Yeah.
Well, not even just from a hacking perspective. Actually, that's something altogether different. But what I was gonna say is I'd be fast asleep in bed, my phone buzzes, and I'm like, oh shoot, I wonder if that's work. So I grab it, I run upstairs to my office, and there's an issue with the website, as there can be.
Yeah.
And my dedication to the job and my dedication to my clients is I don't want them to lose any business because of this. And it could be a quick and easy thing like they didn't renew their web hosting. The website it's sitting on a server somewhere, and late at night often server companies do their maintenance. So it could be something quick and easy like that. And today we could bounce a lot of these ideas and troubleshooting with tools like AI.
Yeah, like clients can do it themselves. They
clients
don't have
can
to
do
call
it
you
themselves.
right away
They
until
could
they're
just
in dire need, not in the middle
put
of the
it
night.
into chat and figure it out and
true.
say, oh, geez, it gave me 3 things and I realized that I didn't do this. It's my hosting or something. Yeah. But back in the day, you would take it all very seriously and you'd roll up your sleeves and you'd start looking into it for an answer. And
I think what you're getting at, which is the interesting part, is the 24/7.
Right.
It's that there's no break. Like you have to be ready to hustle all the time. It's not just like hustle 9 to 5.
That's right.
Like when you have a full-time job and you're like, oh, I'll give you my all, but then I go home, right? But this is like, and it was funny because when you say the hustle, being like this for your clients, I think of the hustle for us is that when I first started, it was our own business. And I finally learned how to do the website.
Right.
And I would stay up and I'd look at the clock and it was like 3 a.m. because I'm obsessed with it, right? And I'm like, oh my God, that's where, the hustle can also be positive, right? Yeah. And I was like, I got lost in it because it was so fun because it was my own.
Yes.
Right? I wasn't doing it for someone else. And that's where it's just like this motivation, this happiness, because what you're doing is doing for your own good. So the hustle kind of changes to, I'm hustling, but I'm doing it because I want to do it.
Well, you
right?
start focus, like it became fun for you.
Yeah.
And that moving part became fun, whereas other moving parts aren't always fun. And I think that's the thing to remember is that there's going to be fun stuff. There's going to be not so fun stuff. You've signed up for it all when you start your own business. So you have to look at those moving parts and really realize, you know, I'm going to have to learn a lot of new things, which we like learning.
Okay,
so we get very excited by learning, right?
And you are a hustler, because I will say something like, oh, and especially when it comes to tech, right? I hate tech. And she loves tech. Well, she puts up with it because I don't. But I'll say to you, like, you know, we should look at this. And the next thing I know, you are hustling because you've said, here's 3 options, here's 3 things that we can do, but you like doing that.
I like the research. I like figuring it out. I like the challenge.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, for some people, though, that might also not be exciting. That might be a down. So that's
intimidating.
And it even is for me sometimes. Of course, you know, tech is changing so fast. And with the introduction to AI, things are changing. And I mean, it's getting way easier and more automated and faster. But you also have to think through things, because sometimes AI is wrong or it gets confused. And, you know, there's lots of things to consider. And I think being an entrepreneur, you know, you really have to think all of those things through, because, there's lots of different things, not just, you know, oh, I'm my own boss. Yeah. And I have people that work for me now. But look at all the things I have to do with that, the admin, you know.
And, you know, when you talk about that, it is everything, right? Like there's no... And again, when you're smaller, right? And I think when we started our business, we wanted to stay small. And we made a conscious decision at the beginning, when we were doing mostly consulting, to stay smaller because our kids were at home. So we didn't want to go. And so many people said to me, like, why didn't you go and get a bigger business? And why didn't you drive yourself to be bigger? And
we could have gotten a big office.
Yeah.
We could have showed up every day. Yeah. And made our freelancers come to not made, but... brought them into the office as part of the job, not allowing them to work from home, because they've all worked from home before, you know, the work from home thing grew before COVID. But and we both really, like that balance, I think.
And I think we wanted to, like, that was, you know, the thing is that when you look at, so I'm distracted because my dog wants out. So, do I go let the dog out, or do I stay here and do this? Okay, so Tiff's going to tell you something as I let the puppy out.
No, but it all depends what kind of business you have too. Because if you have a brick and mortar store, obviously you're going to get a store. You're going to have your staff come to the store, and you're selling things, right? So there's different kinds of businesses, and we would have been more like an agency if we were to go. And we both decided, both said early on, we don't want an agency. We want to be successful. We want to help people. We love helping people. We like learning. And we wanted to be part of all of that, but we didn't want to go
to be a big business.
Yeah.
And that was so that, and you know, we'd done it many years, having a lot of people work for us and, you know, performance reviews and all this kind of stuff. So we wanted to keep it small for that purpose. But with keeping it small, okay, now that I'm back on my thought here, is the idea that you do have to do everything. So we liked it because we would take off at March break for 2 weeks, and we go to Florida with the kids, and we would work from there, because that's the flexibility. But that hustle is that you never are really turned off.
No.
Like, I'd be like, okay, I'll take the kids to the park because you've got to finish an e-blast or do something.
Yeah, I've got to get an email out for a client who sells shoes, and we've got to get that going. You take the kids to, where are the places we used to go? We used to take them to the bird sanctuaries, and we always tried to make it into a learning experience for them.
But the bottom line is that we could do
that.
Right? Like, we could do that because we chose to keep it small and be more freelance based and pulling people in.
It's a little more contained.
But the hustle's still there. The hustle is, if you work for yourself and you have a smaller business, you do everything, and it's 24/7, and there's no auto reply and we leave and we're like, someone's going to take over for us. I think that's the biggest thing you have to think about. And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, which is...
Well, I like to interject right there, because the other thing that I'd like to say is, even though we contained it, we stayed small, we have each other. So I have a business partner to bounce things off of, and to say when, you know, am waking up, you know, 2 a.m. and maybe staying awake till 5 and then
Yeah.
up to get the kids to school and,
Yeah.
and I'm tired and I'm grumpy about it or whatever. And then I can talk to Jen and say, Jen, I know I signed up for this and blah, blah, blah.
know.
But actually it, there was some kind of learning or finding from it that actually helped us. And Jen also helped keep me sane because you don't always get to work with somebody, and I do think that we've always helped each other through. So it wasn't like I was totally alone and I had nobody.
No.
And we were also, as we've said in our other podcasts, we're very good with talking to other entrepreneurs to find out how they handled
and how
growth and movement and all the things, right?
And you'll have to figure out whether you want that smaller business to start and be a man of all trades, a woman of all trades, or whether you want to grow bigger and that's your intention right away. So the hustle's going to be there. The nicest part, I think, what we're trying to say is when the hustle is your own, it makes it a lot more fun and a lot easier because you are working and you're working towards something that's yours.
Yes, most definitely.
That's the coolest thing is that hustle kind of balances itself out because it's yours. But
yeah, and we picked something that we were passionate about.
Yeah.
We didn't pick something that we disliked. And we both knew there would be, I don't want to use the word hardships, but things that are just, did I like waking up at 2 a.m? No. But I signed up for that responsibility.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So I did it.
And we continue
to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So so that's kind of like our third piece of like the hustle, because we've tried to have given you that that perspective of why this podcast is the good, the bad, the hustle. But I think what we want to finish off in and really spend a bit of time on today is say, okay, because we talked about it and we're like, what are our biggest learnings? What can we give you as our biggest takeaways? I think is the one thing to say, because this is what we're going to ask our guests. And, next week we have our first guest. And what we want to ask them these questions too, which is what's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest learning that you would want to tell someone that you didn't know or that you do know now? And so we're going to do that. We're going to kind of each give you something that we think is our biggest takeaway from starting a business, and that will help you and maybe, something for you to think about when you're starting out. So I kind of, if I started off, it was funny because I was thinking about it, and the biggest thing for me that I want to say is having control. And this is going to apply to you at the beginning. You're going to have the control because it's going to be you when you're starting out, or a business partner, and you're going to have that control. But the bigger you get, keep the control. And the reason I want to say this to you is we've had so many people that have come to us and we consult for and have said, I don't have a website anymore because I built it with this company, and this company owns the website and built it on a platform that I can't access. And it is heartbreaking because I see these companies that are like, I can't do anything with it. Or if I want to do anything, I've got to pay $100 an hour to make 3 edits. And we see this consistently. We've seen it through all our clients, and we've rebuilt websites from scratch because people give too much control away or don't understand parameters. Maybe the website's not your expertise because you're in fashion or you're in baking, and so like the least important thing to you is building a website,
right?
But you give it to someone and you trust someone and you give away that control. And I'm not saying you have to do it yourselves. We did it ourselves, and we did it through a Wix platform. And having the ability for me to go in and make an edit, make a costing change, do anything. We keep pivoting, and every time we pivot, we just go in and change the website to talk about consulting, to talk about our courses, our podcast, right? But we are able to do that. So even if you're not doing it yourself through a platform like Wix and Canva to build your own logo, and maybe you have funding and you can do it, make sure that whoever is working for you, you understand what control and what that platform is, and that it's yours to own, and that it's built on something that is flexible, that you will take it with you and you're not losing all of that work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also make sure you discuss with whoever is coming in to give you some assistance, what your strengths and weaknesses are with things like such as a website or whatever. Because the reason I picked Wix for us wasn't necessarily for me. It was for Jen, because I knew that
You could build a WordPress website.
I can build a website, and then she can't edit it, and she can't look after it, or I'm off and I'm sick, or who knows what's going on. Jen needs to have the capability to go in and do her own thing. Yeah. So I picked it because it's a drag and drop system, and I'm not trying to support Wix. I mean, there's a million different things you could choose. But make sure you communicate that you want the ability to be able to add images and do different things. Yeah. And you know, there's a little bit of learnings in there, how to optimize your image and different things. Yeah. And, you know, you want to add your own search engine optimization because you'll eventually learn those things, or you'll have someone on your team that can do them. So don't give away that power to somebody else. The summary of this. So that's what it should be called. Don't give away the power. Communicate effectively with whoever's working with you, so that you ultimately, you don't, even if you don't have to do it yourself, you understand it. Yes. You at least need to understand it. We had another client and working with a designer, and the designer wouldn't give them the logo. That's right. And we won't name names because it's a big client too that you would know. So what we're getting at is just my biggest learning is just make sure that whoever you're working with you trust, and that you understand the parameters around what they're doing for you becomes yours, ownable, your identity and ownable to you. And whether that's in paperwork or whether that's on a contract at the beginning, make sure that you identify that, because you don't want to have to start from scratch, and you also don't want to have to pay someone hundreds of dollars sometimes to do small edits, and because you're you're at their mercy at that point, right? And that's, you know, again, where you have to have clear expectations of each other. Mm-hmm. That kind of leads into yours, doesn't it? The planning. Okay, so you go next. And timelines and all those things that sort of go into a project, and that's something that I had to learn. I didn't come from a project management background. But as the more I'm thinking this through, really I had to learn how to manage projects with clients, no matter what that project is, whether it's technology based or not. Right. You have to have clear expectations. You have to let them know what your boundaries are. Right. Right. So is this kind of your learning? You're saying you're learning here. Your biggest takeaway to them is setting expectations? Yeah, I would say it's probably one of the biggest, especially for a business like mine where it's web based and technology based, is make sure you have clear expectation, you set your boundaries, because whatever you do, you want to work sustainably. You don't want to be, you know, you like your clients, you want to please your clients, you want to do a great job for your clients. It's not about not doing that. It's about you both understanding, being transparent, and having good discussions before you even, you know, talk money. Figure out what it is and see if you're a good fit for each other. Yeah. That's another thing. And I know we're not talking about selling products and stuff like that, but that can translate into selling a shoe or selling a purse or selling this shirt. Like you still need to understand. Everybody has to understand each other's expectations. And I think and plan for appropriately. I think, you know, I think this is a very fascinating learning and a big takeaway, because I think it applies to both small businesses and it applies to everyday real world, right? And so a lot of this clearly is going to apply to both. And it's interesting because I had a client, and this isn't necessarily an entrepreneur like this. We set expectations because as business partners, we know exactly what we want to achieve. So that was easier. But if you have clients or you're running a store or you're trying to figure out, you know, what are the expectations of your staff, right? Because I had a really big learning, which came out of this expectation thing. So when you said it, it triggered to me. And we did a big event, but it was actually a big social, I shouldn't say an event. It was a social promotion. And our expectation was it was going to achieve, you know, so many deliverables, KPIs, you know, in terms of shares, likes, etc. Right. And all I remember is the client said, I just want it to go, you know, to go viral. And so I was like, oh, okay, go viral. Well, it turns out that my expectation of what viral is and his expectation of viral were very different. And I actually teach this to my class because I say you have to be able to set out clear expectations and KPIs if you are what you're going to deliver, because if that doesn't match and you get to the end of a project with a client, or you are have promises for a vendor if you're starting a business and you know you can't understand and those expectations aren't clear up front, it's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, and I mean that's what you're describing is the hustle. There's these things, and you know, do make mistakes along the way. And that's something else.
Of course we do.
We should bring into it, because this part of the hustle is learning.
Yeah.
And like you're human. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You are going to let down a client here or there or whatever. Yeah. But I think the takeaway is that you've learned a lesson and you don't repeat that mistake.
100%.
Right?
Oh, okay. Here's
and it strengthens you.
Huge thing. Taking ownership. Right? I think that's another big lesson. And I go, you guys may think to yourselves, oh, I do this, but I'm telling you, if you take ownership and say, yes, this happened because of this, and, this is why, instead of trying to brush it off on someone else, the respect that you will get.
Never brush it off on someone else.
Never. Just take ownership.
If it's your project, you own it.
Yeah. And just do that. So I think, and this may seem that it's not, now I'm necessarily about like small business or entrepreneurs, but these are just big world business lessons.
And those are mistakes you make early on in a business. Like I definitely probably made that mistake. Maybe one of my freelancers didn't do something. Yeah. Well, here's a good example, because you were always giving me edits. And maybe I wasn't looking closely enough at so I hire programmers to do certain things because I have too many projects that I can't possibly do all the work. So I have them doing something, but maybe I missed something, and you would say, oh, Tiff, this is supposed to be over here or whatever. And so it was my mistake. So I have to own that. Yep. You know what? I had too many other things on the go. I totally missed that. But
and I'm sure I probably wasn't perfectly clear.
I'll do it.
This is where good relationships happen. And I think part of all of starting a business is relationship driven. Mm-hmm. People want to work with people they like, right? And that's why our clients, were lucky, keep coming back, because they want to work with you, and you give them respect, and you own up to things that you want to do. So
you try hard.
Relationship building is the biggest thing. Be kind to everyone, and remember, and this is one of my biggest lessons, and I say this again to my students, I feel like a broken record, but the bottom line is never burn a bridge. Never. Those people will come back, and they will come back again, and you will not know when or where, but never burn a bridge, because that may be someone that in the long run is going to help you. And also,
that's a great point.
Being kind. Yeah. Don't burn a bridge.
Okay. No. And the kindness, that can be easily forgotten, because you get caught up in things.
Exactly. Where I just want to keep us online here, because I have one more just takeaway here, and then we're going to wrap it up, because next week we have a guest. But anyways, the last thing I want to say, and it's more very tangible, and I'm kind of taking it down to more of a micro place than a macro place, but I just want to end with the importance of SEO. And I think that in any size business, and even if you're starting, it's something that you may blow off at the beginning, because it's like, oh, it's the least thing. I don't know anything about it. I don't understand it.
It's hard to understand.
But my biggest thing, and again, social, we've talked about this. We struggle with it. But SEO is a different beast. SEO is, if they can't find you, they cannot buy you. That is the bottom line, or they cannot hire you. So you have to be found. And I looked it up, because I thought about this, and I wanted to make sure I said it. 90% of searches go through Google. So you've got to think about Google and about if they can find you. Because if Google can't find you, and the only way they'll find you is by putting in your URL. And if your URL is not clear or easy, or maybe they write it wrong, again, that goes back to you have to be found. So SEO, it's a bigger thing. And I think maybe you and I should do one of these on SEO, right? Like maybe we do. Look at our
for those who don't know what SEO is.
Good point.
It's search engine optimization.
Sorry, I should have said
and
that. Right.
And your website gets optimized, and your images get optimized. Everything's optimized for search.
Keywords.
And Google also owns platforms like YouTube. So they work very well together. If you do videos, like that SEO translate to your website and back and forth. Like there's lots of opportunities out there.
I should have been more clear. SEO
well, it's a big topic.
When you search, whatever those keywords are, they should be keywords that are relevant to your business. And so being relevant to your business says that, if someone's going to look up, because we do coaching, we do consulting, we do small business. So our keywords would be small business consulting, small business online courses, right? And we do have a course on SEO. So these are the kind of things that you've got to make sure What's relevant to your business is how you use that language on your website, and so people can find you when they're typing in. There's lots of lessons here about, that's not my goal here, is to give you guys a lesson in SEO.
Right.
I just want you, if you're a bigger takeaway from us, to go, I need to research SEO, or I need to make sure that I'm up to speed on this. Find someone to help you, or do the research if you're starting out yourself on how to do SEO.
Yeah, and AI is very helpful to just get
made it way easier now.
Well, it just gets it's a tough topic because you've got to learn all about it, and AI can actually help you to streamline your learning quickly rather than reading a tutorial.
And even
it can help you
come up with keywords. Like,
it can.
AI in that capacity is your best friend to help you with that. But I just wanted, it's something that if we're talking about our key learnings, I think we're talking about, number one, make sure you know and you have control and good relationships. 2, expectations and planning. And 3, make sure people can find you.
And if that's something that's interesting to anybody, if you guys want to, leave us some comments, because we could always bring in an expert who, can talk to all the different ways. I mean, we can do that, but it might be interesting to have somebody else come in who that is their primary job of doing search engine optimization, and how that translates to business today, because it's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, it's very true.
And it's always changing. So
very fast.
So that might be interesting.
Google's very smart.
Yes, it is.
So with that, I think that, those kind of I know it's going to be interesting, because as we start to interview other people, we're going to be asking them these questions too. So we're going to see what their biggest takeaways are, and what they have to say. Hopefully some may have some overlap. Hopefully some are very different. So we are looking forward to that. So in 2 weeks, we'll be putting up our interview with Annabel Fitzsimmons. And she is amazing. She is a playwright. She is an author. She is a writer. She is a creative person at heart, and has worked with many, many different small businesses along her path, her journey, and in different ways. She's also a yoga instructor. So she's had multiple small businesses with multiple different partners, and brings a huge amount of insight to, I think, starting out and how to grow, and how to find good business partners, and all these other things too. So, and how to work with people, I think, is another one, and follow your dreams. Oh, so many things. She's so inspirational.
She's very nice, and she's also a really good speaker. So I think you guys would, you'll love it. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. So that will be our next big path. But again, as Tiff said, please send us comments, because that will help us evolve this, and maybe, what we can bring to you, and continue to deliver insights to help you guys in your journey. Because that's our goal here. Real talk from real entrepreneurs, and insights that make a difference. Right? Okay. So thank you for your time today, guys. We appreciate it. And please follow us, so that, we don't have to keep reposting, but, you get updates on when we are actually posting new podcasts.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.